What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It and Break It. My name's Andrew, and this is our Project HyperTenere Yamaha R6 project. I said project twice. Sorry about that. Last few episodes-ish, we've been working on crash protection that we've pretty much figured out, and I like how it's kind of sitting right now. So we're gonna use this episode to do some other smaller odds and ends around the bike to get ourselves ready for our final foot controls, which hopefully will be done soon. It's been a process getting those ready to go, but we're gonna do some odds and ends around the bike and get ourselves ready to really take this thing out and do some exploring. So first thing is we're gonna come over on this side of the bike and talk about our expansion tank. So you can see our foot control set up down over here on the right hand side, and this is roughly where we think everything's gonna fall, give or take, in order to fit my giant freaking feet on this bike and under control. You might notice though, this is roughly installed right in somewhere about here. This is just gonna come up and hit constantly, and I don't think my boots will even fit on top of that. So what we're gonna do is relocate and maybe replace this. Luckily, if you look up here on the front of our bike, there's a ton of space in this area, somewhere around here, to install a new reservoir, a new coolant reservoir, overflow canister, whatever you want to call it. And we've got a couple options. First option is just move this and recreate a new mounting place somewhere up in here, probably off this front part of the roll bar, somewhere in this area. You know, we move this, pull this out. Ugh. This goes somewhere in over here, maybe, you know, somewhere in that area, or maybe up on this front bar. Or we've got a couple options. First is going overboard. This is a coolant reservoir canister, overflow tank, kind of more designed for a car based on its size. You can take a look at this thing's like 900 milliliter size, where this is normally 900 cc's milliliter, same thing, where this thing is normally like a 450, 440 capacity, something like that. And you can see this is huge and would probably fit in roughly the same area. We'd probably install it somewhere in like maybe something like this. A couple tabs, maybe one coming off here and one off of here, something like that. That's a possibility, but this thing is freaking huge, and I'm not sure we really need something like this in here just waiting to get hit and knocked into like the radiator over here or what have you. So I think we're gonna leave this off for now. We might come back to it. Our other option is something like this. So this is there's a bunch of different types of these on the market. This is essentially an aftermarket coolant recovery tank, coolant reservoir tank. It's usually designed to go get installed on things like dirt bikes that don't typically come with a coolant reservoir, to give you like the ability to recover your coolant and you're not leaking everywhere and that sort of thing. It is smaller, obviously, than our original coolant reservoir here, but it is also a lot easier to position in place and hide. So if we were to put it in roughly the same position, you can see we can put it in somewhere like this, kind of fit it between the radiator and the crash protection here, even take advantage of some of this extra padding. Have the crash protection bars really protect this thing very well, and kind of just zip tie it in here. And that would be like a very easy way to install something like this and get this out of the way of our foot controls. What am I gonna do? Well, first I gotta get this thing up and out of the way to make things better. But I think we're gonna start with this thing and test it out and see how it goes. One, because it's much smaller profile. It keeps, you got this whole space. It keeps kind of everything out of this space, and so there's only really hard stuff to hit on the inside here. as opposed to something soft and squishy. And it's a lot easier to hide and protect than the other options that we have. But it's also one that doesn't require me to weld tabs in here or anything. So if it doesn't work out, if we end up seeing a lot of overheating or something along those lines, then it's real easy to just unzip tie this, put like our stock one or the big car one back on, and weld in tabs where we want to put them. So I think that's the way we're gonna go for now. Nice and easy, and honestly, that'd be a nice change for once on this prep. So I'm gonna go get some gloves on real quick, and let's get going. Alright, so the kit I'm using is a Motion Pro kit. And it's a pretty simple setup. It's got a reservoir itself, which we're going to put somewhere like right up in here. Right, so it'll sit somewhere in here, get protected by the crash protection pretty well, and otherwise kind of stay out of the way. And it's got a bunch of other random stuff that comes in it to get you attached. So the normal routing for the radiator hose comes off the top of the radiator cap here, runs all the way around underneath the tank, back over to this side of the bike where we saw that earlier, and into the top of this piece here. So this was where that hose from the top of the radiator hose we were just disconnected comes all the way back around and comes into the top here of this thing. So we're gonna put this back on just for now to keep everything sealed. I am curious to see how much of this that's in here actually fits in this thing. So it's not gonna be all of it, even though this is over full right now. So the new kit comes with a box of mounting stuff. It's essentially just some mounting tube that you cut to length that you want, and then some mounting zip ties to mount your thing in. So it's a pretty simple process to go install something like this. I'll put a link in the description down below to this item. Affiliate links aren't working right now, so it's probably just gonna be a regular Amazon link. But if in case you're wanting to use this for your dirt bike, or I think a lot of sport bike guys actually put these somewhere up in here or something like that as well, just to keep that expansion tank, but get it away from your foot controls and down over here. So we're gonna cut these things to length real quick and get this new piece installed. All right, and we're in for now. This thing is gonna sit here, give or take. This is temporary zip ties going in right now, because permanent ones will go in after we paint all of this, which will hopefully happen pretty soon. But this is where we're gonna go put it. So this line right here that's coming up from and goes up around here, it goes all the way around the front to the other side on the cap where it'll tee back in, and then this is our drain that comes back down here right underneath. I think that's our transmission cover or our clutch cover or whatever that is, right underneath this little cover over here, and it'll drop out. It actually drops out onto our skid plate, which I'm not a super fan of, but I couldn't find another good clean place to put it farther down this way. So it's gonna end up dropping out onto our skid plate for now. And this is pretty much where it's gonna go. So we're gonna leave this here momentarily because we're gonna go hop onto the other side and finish up our brake upgrades over here. These are gonna be going away soon, and I don't really need them for stand-ins anymore. So, but to do our brake upgrades, I need to crack this, and to crack, that's our new brake pressure sensor. And to crack that, I need this thing to be held in solidly, and to hold this thing in solidly, I have to install the old foot controls over here on the right hand side, at least to hold it in there. That'll let me crack this and pull it off, and then once I replace the lines, it'll also let me drain the brake system, bleed the brake system, so that there's no air in the lines, and that would be nice, wouldn't it? Because there's no brake fluid up in this reservoir right now. So if you wanted to understand how not to do something, this is definitely currently how not to ride a bike. Holy crap. Okay, so we got our rear brake line installed. Finally, that was actually a bit of a struggle to get it installed, and brakes are bled now, which is nice. They actually build pressure. Part of that was a little bit of problem on my part. I usually listen to music or YouTube or something like that when I'm working, and I had my headphones in, and this thing was not building pressure. I'd sit here and pump this thing and pump it and pump it and pump it and bleed air out, and wasn't building pressure. It wasn't building pressure because it wasn't sealed. So this back connection is actually pretty hard to get into. I ended up having to get really creative with this back joint on the caliper for this line, and I didn't get it fully torqued down the first time through. Admittedly, I wanted to take it easy, so I wasn't taking too hard. I didn't want to pull a front and break a brake line just by trying to torque it in and, you know, friction weld the aluminum washers in and everything. That would have also not been a good plan, but that we had a leak going on. So pro tip, if you're doing something where listening for leaks is important, maybe don't wear your headphones. Second, these lines are really good. I think they're going to be very durable for us, but being stainless steel braided lines are not at all like these rubber hose lines that you're pulling out, and they're super flexible and you kind of move them where you need to get them in place. So moving this thing around, especially getting it installed when stuff is not like fully tight anywhere, is a fun experience. And that's where we're going to cut it for today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Andrew. This has been another Make It and Break It video on our Project HyperTenere Yamaha R6. We got some other cool stuff coming off the printer and down the pipeline. I don't know what pipeline we're using, but there's a pipeline, I'm sure. We got some cool stuff coming down for this bike soon, and definitely want to stay tuned for some of that stuff, because we're gonna be making some of the biggest prints we've made on this channel, and functional 3D printing in a way you don't really see very often. So take a look for that, as well as we're pretty close now to starting to take some adventures with this thing. So if you want to see us badly riding off-road, pay attention for that. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, my name's Andrew. This is another Make and Break YouTube video. Do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys have some content that you want to see on this channel that we're not catching for you, because I definitely am willing to get you guys out some specific content. So give me a holler down below if you guys are missing something, and I think I can't get you a good video of it. So until next time, guys, I'm gonna test fit some of this stuff. How's that look? Not terrible? Anyway, we'll catch you later.